Like I said, guys, we are back. One Piece chapter 1138 was monumental. One Piece chapter 1139 is up next. But before that, we got to get to the Q&A. So we're going to dive into the topics and dive into questions, right? Again, good questions and bad questions. We're going to highlight good questions as we typically do, but the bad questions, you're not safe. All right. The bad comments, you're not safe. We're here for all of you. Now let's get to it. Sakata G67789 says 7789 says this mural will live rent-free in our heads until the end of One Piece. I have not seen a reaction to one page like this impactful and dissecting this much probably ever in One Piece, but a reaction similar to this page was, and it led to a bunch of different theories, was Roger laughed. He laughed. Since then, we have not had anything remotely close. Of course, there were things about Vegapunk's speech that people speculated about, Kizaru and Luffy, which was a different type of conversation. But in regards to just lore, it has never been like this, where people are dropping full videos, dissecting, giving interpretations, different translations, Japanese. They want you to try to understand this as best as possible. And so this chapter, I mean, it lived rent-free. It's still living rent-free in my head. So yeah, he's correct with that. Megumin D Staff 1007 says every videos of interpretation and all the takes in the internet about this whole chapter just sums up how I'm lucky to be experiencing One Piece as it's running. Countless fans will reminisce these times as the One Piece experience. I 1000% agree with this. I talk about this all the time, and that saying that I'm happy that I'm experiencing One Piece live, and I'm or as it's going on, I'm happy I experienced Naruto as it was going on. I'm happy I experienced Bleach as it was going on. And so with all of these things, it is monumental that in our lives, Hunter x Hunter as well, it is, well, Hunter x Hunter, it's still going on. It's beautiful. And I think one of the best things about One Piece is the community and the dialogue and just the intricacy of the theories and the mind meld, right? Punk records. That's what the One Piece community kinda is, where we figure things out beforehand. And so I am grateful every week that the community and even my community and other content creators communities can get together and even talk about the chapter. Shout out to the Reverie, shout out to all those people. Not all of them, because some people I don't really. But ultimately, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. Can't even lie about that. Kevin Wang 7061 says someone said that Frankie's not the next Emeth, but rather that he's Pluton. As we can see, there's the Sea Kings, Noah's Ark, etc., but we do not see Pluton. That's because it's Frankie. Well, here's the thing. On the mural, you can see Frankie is blocking something. I think even the first world, second world, and third world dialogue, they're blocking something as well. So I think Frankie is standing in front of what could be Pluton. I don't think Frankie's going to be Pluton because Frankie can build an anti-Pluton weapon himself. So I don't think he's going to be Pluton. I think he could be representative of what the mural says could be Emeth, but him being Pluton, I don't see it because he can just build that. Him turn himself into Pluton, or maybe he turns the Sunny into a variant of Pluton. So, but him being Pluton himself, I don't see that. That's kind of where I'm leaning. Thomas Gardner 5236 says, I find it really amusing that OP fans are hitting the books of the Bible in order to understand the latest chapter. I mean, One Piece is an odyssey, and One Piece is an amalgamation of stories that's come together through Oda's vision, and Oda blends or borrows from a bunch of stories, and the Bible is notwithstanding. So, of course, I mean, the Tower of Babel was a story that I thought of. Of course, Noah's Ark is so many different things that you can think of from the Bible that maybe Oda draws inspiration from, but other stories, not just Oda, not just One Piece, draws inspiration from the Bible. And so I do think it's hilarious, but I think it makes sense. Professionally Curious 7372 says, also, relating to the biblical reference, you can see that history repeats itself in One Piece and in our real world because mankind still tries to outsmart Yuha with the skyscrapers and shifting focus on science and their own understanding rather than faith in Yah. Somehow One Piece might mirror this. Well, I mean, yeah, I think when it comes down to just blasphemy, how you view that in the One Piece world, it said that they were chasing after the sun, gods became angered, so many different references to, just mankind and references to Icarus. So yeah, I mean, One Piece is mirroring so much. I don't think it's just one thing we can pinpoint, but there's so many things that Oda is pulling from and bring them together, I think, seamlessly. Hana no Maud says, Ripley's quote about the child's dream actually immediately made me think of the panel of Luffy lying on the deck of the Sunny at the end of Wano when he tells the crew That's what lies at the end of my dream. And we've yet to find out what that dream is beyond finding the One Piece and becoming the King of Pirates. Yes. Yeah, Ripley's quote scared me for a while. Then I got so much reassurance from the comments and the audience. I was just like, all right, definitely much ado about nothing. But Ripley saying it's nothing but a child's dream could be, akin or a reference, homage to Luffy's dream and what that could be. And what is that, essentially? We still don't know what Luffy's dream is. Of course, everybody's idea that I think the consensus is that he wants a great party. He wants to have a good time with everybody in the world. And so, we'll see where it goes. Again, Oda has done a fantastic job of being vague while it's being oddly specific, but it's leaving enough out where we can't necessarily figure it out. We figured out some things, but not everything. And I think I'd rather it that way. Saturday Night Riz says, someone got to do a video on what the other god fruits are, because like if the Gomu Gomu no Mi was a model Nika, then fruits that exist with different names are probably the other ones. Something I thought about, of course, Earth God, the Sun God. It's a bunch of different fruits that it could potentially be. I don't think those are necessarily the case, but I think it'd be fun to at least talk about it and speculate, right? I think speculation is probably part of the fun in One Piece. Some people don't like speculation as much, but I'm like, then you're missing out. Then you're really not enjoying One Piece the way you should, my opinion. Money D Shot said it can't be Scopper if the colored version is correct, because Scopper had black hair, not blonde. His hair would turn from black to gray, not blonde. Like I said, I don't think we've ever gotten any confirmation or color confirmation from that specific panel with the guy who we think could be Shiki or Scopper in front of Crocus. I just think Shiki, at this point, not that he doesn't make no sense, I just think it makes less sense. And because of the panel, they're talking about Roger, talking about family, Scopper just makes the most sense here. I think it'd be an amazing thing if Scopper showed up. Shiki would be fun. Shiki would be more fun, but Scopper would just make more sense. Him showing up here, he uses axes. The design checks out. Of course, Shiki said 20 years, but it's been over 20 years. I just think based on what they were talking about, Shanks' family, and again, we've said that Scopper was in Elbaf and we saw him walking around, and we said this guy was Scopper from ever since we saw him. And so, that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards Scopper. That's the easy answer. Shiki's more difficult, more fun, but the easy answer to me is Scopper. Elo Vanha says, I think this whole thing is a depiction of Ragnarok. If Loki isn't going to cause it, it must be Emu. Ragnarok, we have to see what comes of that. Loki seems hell-bent on making it happen. He hates celestial dragons. And then there's still that question about what happened actually with his dad, with Harold. So Ragnarok is still in the back of my mind, but it's hard to focus on Ragnarok with the mural. But the mural, again, could be signifying what Ragnarok is. So, they talked about how the giants in Elbaf, they all had a different version or in their head what the sun god is. And Ragnarok could mean different things to different people. And Loki, again, he may be trying to fill a void based on what people prophesize him to be in the past, or rather in the future. So, could be in the past as well, depending on how you view this mural. But yeah, I get it. Trenton Smiley 6557 says, what if the treasure tree Adam was the tree that bore the devil fruits? That would be why people fought over Elbaf land. Not sure how those dots would connect, but something you said made me think of that. Yes, they talked about the tree and the forest god bringing forth the devils, right? And so the devil fruits, and Vegapunk talks about dreams. We have to see exactly how that is going to be worked into the One Piece story. I know that it may seem contradictory when we talk about dreams and then you talk about the forest god. I think there's a happy medium there where both things could be true, where you could be praying and dreams could be dreaming of liberation, and that could lead to otherworldly things and the devil fruit powers manifesting. So there's more to come. However, I'm never going to dismiss dreams in One Piece, considering just how impactful dreams and the will of others living on is so prevalent in the story. We can't just dismiss it because we think we have an explanation of what transpired back then with devil fruits. I think things at the end of the day with this mural, it is just a perspective and a message. And so how you interpret that is going to be based on the individual, the race, the as far as the One Piece story. I'm not talking about like in real life, even in real life, right? But it's going to vary. And I don't think there's a right answer or a wrong answer, but I think it is a collection of experiences and knowledge based on how you interpret the One Piece story already that's going to lead to the answer. And And that's going to be by us talking to each other. That's why I think the red line or the first world, the separation is what led to the issues, because, man, it's so difficult to accomplish things. I talked about the Tower of Babel when you can't communicate with each other. So yeah, it's so much to think about, seriously. 1000 Beast Mike says, I was thinking about Green Bull or a God Knight. As much as I want a Kainu from the desk, he would want smoke with everyone. Yes, Green Bull showing up to Elbaf would be perfect, but a Kainu showing up to Elbaf would be diabolical. Him leaving the desk, I don't see it happening yet. Elbaf does not seem like his arena, but Green Bull certainly that could happen. I think so. Samcat T Jackson 4776 says, I think the voice of the fragmented moon is Toki's prophecy. If Momo is the moon unaware of the dawn, if the Kozuki is the moon represented by the crescent moon, they would be fragmented across time. Thus, her voice, her prophecy is what started this all. That's where I think she fits in. I see the through line with the moon and the Kozuki, the crescent. Hard to say though. Like, there's so many possible representations of the fragmented moon. And Toki, I think I've thought about Toki in the midst of all this, considering that's the era that she came from. But I wonder how much importance she's going to hold, because we're going to see a flashback and she's going to be in the flashback. And, based on how Oda sets this up, Toki may have played a much greater role than we initially thought. And so, I'm not mad at it. Momena Busara 4458 says, this mural was drawn during the Void Century by Elbaf kids. In my opinion and interpretation, it's not a prophecy drawing of Luffy's time, but a drawing of what happened during the Second World or the First World, maybe both. As for what Robin read, it's in a perception of people who holds hope, and who they were referring to meet are the two rulers who the Sea Kings talked about during Roger's flashback, in which the Sea Kings said they will meet again, as it seemed they haven't met during the first two worlds. Still, there's much to be revealed. I might be wrong. I mean, to be honest, Momena, we all could be wrong, right? I like the reference to the Sea Kings talking about the sovereigns meeting. The sovereigns could just be on a path where, based on circumstances or duty, they can never meet. We know, well, we're presuming the first world is Nika, the OG Nika. Second world is Joy Boy, and now the third world is going to be Monkey D. Luffy. Again, like you said, more to be revealed. It's like every time I feel like I get close, there's something that's like, wait, nope, not quite. Try again. And so it's exhilarating, but it's still frustrating because I'm just like, so good at this. Dalton Brown 6737 says, one thing I thought of that is consistent through the lore, there seems to be 3 generations of Joy Boys / series of events that changed the word. Hints from Bink Sake, Vegapunk stating another world under the sea, now this mural. So technically, Luffy's journey is just the third act of a overwhelming large world, a story. Okay, so we're saying Luffy, the Straw Hats. This part of it is just part of something that was going to happen. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're part of the story, but it's like this mural again was drawn back then, right? In the Void Century. And so again, Madam Shirley exists. So telling the future and what's to come is not far-fetched. It's just having this etched and being this accurate and having the events that played out so far in the One Piece story. We can point to different things and say, hey, that's this person. It feels preordained almost. Right? So, man, it's so exciting. It really is. Dualmo 7185 says, I wonder why Zunisha is nowhere to be found on the mural. Zunisha is there. It's the outline of Zunisha with Noah inside of it. I believe that's Zunisha. I think, again, it looks like Noah is inside of Zunisha, but you have to remember that how big Zunisha is in the water. And so it could be a situation where they're connected in some way, right? So it's not that Zunisha or Noah is inside of Zunisha. It could be that they're connected in some way. And so we know that Kozuki and Zoe, even going back to Fishman Island, it's all a cycle and a connection. So that could all be connected in some way. And so we have to wait and see. KPT Kickass says, when you were reading Deified from the chapter, it kind of hit me. Oda knows English and loves puns. Deify themselves. That is something that I thought about as well after seeing this comment, like saying that they deified themselves. It could be literal, where they deified themselves and that led to the will of D or the D clan, etc. But it feels like it just could be straightforward as well. They deified themselves. They're trying to become deities themselves. And that was blasphemous, and that made people upset, and that made the sea god upset. So I see where you're going, but I don't know. But I see where you're going now. Thugstenium says, I think the whole deified themselves is referring to the celestial dragons. They're making themselves deities above mere humans. Which again, I talked about this, saying that the celestial dragons may not necessarily be wrong. Of course, the path to this could be viewed as blasphemous because they're deifying themselves. But again, if humans are the cause, which seems like the cause in every single part of this mural, what if they felt like to stop this cycle, they have to stop humans and place themselves maybe a peg above? So, we have to wait and see. D. Lulu says, I seen that little jiggle when you jumped on the bed. I mean, speaks for itself, doesn't it? Chico's 2993 says, Brago kinda thick, yo. Guess them YouTube ads and sponsors feed well. What's up with you, bro? Nah, for real, what's up with you? Crazy. Dreamkiller1116 says, I'm still confused on who would never meet again. I think a lot of us are. People have drawn the conclusion that the sovereigns are going to meet again since they've never met. People are going to say that the sun and the people will meet again since it was taken away, or it was, I don't want to say destroyed. It's because we talk about the coming dawn. So, bro, it's so many speculative theories in regards to who is going to meet again. That's clearly intentional by Oda. For us not to know, right? Or for us not even to have even an inkling. We can try to speculate and decipher, but I don't think it's clear at all. Michael Galbin 8062 says, look directly to the right of the Atom Tree. You see the person with the crown? If you look at what they're standing on, it looks like the silhouette of an elephant. So Zoe, and could that be Imu? I'm thinking that could be the other sovereign, could be the Vivi, in my opinion, or Momonosuke is definitely Zoe, in my opinion. But Imu, no. Could be Lily, right? Could be Lily. That could be a thing. Because we know that Joy Boy had allies. Lily, I don't want to say abandoned the Celestials, but could be Lily, right? Could be Lily. And I think that's a name that's not being brought up enough. Nefertari Lily, but that could be Lily. That's interesting because when I think of Lily and then think of Zoe and think of what happened in Fishman Island with the sovereigns never meeting again. Was Lily wasn't one of the sovereigns, and like, did Lily get turned into Zoe? Is that why Lily in this mural is sitting on Zunisha? Bro. Shout out to Sam Dion 4851 says, random theory. What if Vivi is Lily's daughter? I'm trying to figure out where Toki fits into the story, being sent into the future for a reason. What if Toki brought Lily into the future and got with Cobra, but was sweating when Imu brought up that no one knows where Lily went? It's possible. It's just that we saw Toki traveling and there was no one with her. So that would just be a jump and would feel like a retcon by Oda if all of a sudden Toki brought Lily with her. But kudos for mentioning Lily. I think she should be mentioned more considering just how important she seems to be to all of this. So Many Blaze says he actually gets to talking about the chapter at 9:25. So the first 9 minutes, I guess I was talking about the beginning of the chapter, the stuff with Shanks and Luffy and Ripley, and then we got to talking about the mural at 9:25. But come on, we can't just like ignore the first half of the chapter. We have to talk about everything. My guy, come on, don't be like that. Don't be like T. Shombi says they will not meet again represents the different seas, and when they meet again means there will be the all blue. Okay, I like the interpretation, especially with my theory of the first world. The separation was through the red line, and that led to the demise of the people. So if they meet again, in the third world, that being all the seas, I actually like that. I like that idea. Ayush 9202 says Dragon versus Dargon. Say Dragon versus Dragon. In the mural is Emu versus Monkey D. Dragon. The giant figure with the sun is Blackbeard. That's a thought as well, that the person on the left is actually Blackbeard, right? Because Blackbeard feels like the final antagonist. And that dragon on the right for sure feels like Monkey D. And then that blob, because Emu did take that pose before when he's going after Sabo, could be Emu. So I'm not mad at it, Ayush. I'm not mad at it at all. Harley Kennedy 7922. Harley being a name is funny. Holy crap, I think the One Piece is that everyone has twins. And I think Whitebeard's twin is actually Roger's twin. Might as well make this evil twin thing more stupid and cheesy than it already is. Okay, I'm not going to deny that the twin thing feels a bit cheesy, feels a bit cliche, but come on. We said the same thing about Oda and time travel, and I think Oda did an excellent job how he handled the time travel with Toki and those boys, so give it a chance. Enryu Mazimo 3939 says, screw power scaling. This is what One Piece is about. Now, I agree. This is what One Piece is about. I'm not saying, I can't necessarily agree with screw power scaling, considering how important power scaling is to the conclusion and resolution of these arcs. And power scaling is just narrative consistency. Now, I agree. Some people take it way too far, and that becomes the sole focus of why they indulge in One Piece, which, no, not the Phase Boys. You can't indulge in One Piece that way. Like, if your focus is how strong somebody is, and then you're reading the wrong series. I agree, but we cannot and should not completely dismiss power scaling, because to me that's just consistency and conclusion. It's a battle manga, right? Not just that, but that's an aspect of it. And that's how most of these things are going to be concluded. So those things, the consistency of it, I would like for it to make sense. But that is not even close to the reason why you should, or I do, read One Piece. So with that, I agree. This is what One Piece is about. Zangzus 8272, what a throwback. Love it. What makes you think that the big monster on the right is a dragon? I mean, Zangzus, I'm not gonna lie. It just looks like a dragon, and then it has the X's that reminds me of Monkey D. Dragon in his tattoo. So, I mean, it could be wrong, but Jacob Avila 8114 says, yo, what do you think about the Luka trade? Is this the time for that? Is this what, okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. The Luka trade doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Why would they trade Luka, 25-year-old superstar, 5-time first team? Why would you trade him? And again, shout out to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a really, really good player. But come on, 25, he's 31. What you get back for Luka, what you should have gotten back for Luka should be way more than what you gave up. And then you didn't really vet him around the league. You just really gave him to the Lakers. And so it's not going to make sense. I saw Luka sit on the bench recently for a game, and it was like, yo, Luka's really on the Lakers. Like, what is going on? I'm like, Otis cooking, Luka's getting traded, KD's going back to the Warriors. Is this first, second, third world? What is, I don't know. Bro, I don't know what's happening anymore. Wizard Waters 1960 said, I might just be high as hell, but I think it's Shiki, because why Oda riding out the steps as if it's a sound stepping like a blade cutting through grass type ish. But don't mind me, I'm just out of there. You know what? I think you're just out of there, and that's okay. And that's okay as long as you're home, safe, and you at some point come back to reality. Because I think the steps was just like dramatic effect, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't think nobody is casually walking to where Luffy and Zoro is, Nami Road. Nobody's casually walking to a Yonko and his right hand by yourself unless you are going to be an ally. If you are an enemy, you're going to get packed up. We're not in the East Blue anymore. All right? We're not doing that. This ain't Kansas. So Shiki pulling up by himself on Luffy and Zoro? You crazy? Must be an ally. It has to be an ally, or he's out of his mind. That's kind of how I do this conclusion. Mojo Jojo 4682 says, where's the Tantata Brago mentioned? I can't see it. Can anyone help me? The Tantata is right behind where we presume to be Shirahoshi and the Mermaid Princess with the trident. Right behind that. I believe that is a Tantata. Olavo Toledo 8870 says, it's not Scooper, it's Zebek. I agree. It's not Scooper. It's not Zebek. Shiki or Scopper, right? Scooper, Zebek, I think is out of there. Shiki or Scopper. Those are the candidates. Anything else? Yeah. Adam Voidless says, also, Yamato is white, not black, like Lucci, Kaku, or the Gorosei. All right. Satan _Sen says, why your ish jiggle on the helix though? What's up with y'all today, man? What's up with y'all, bro? That's crazy. What's up, bro? Lane _1647 says, whole lot of nothing, honestly. Not gonna lie, Lane. Not sure if you're talking about like what I'm talking about. Not sure if you're talking about. I'm just gonna assume it's what I'm talking about. You're just saying a whole lot of nothing. Probably. If you're talking about a chapter and what this chapter was, Lane, One Piece just saying yo Lane at this point because bro, Lane, come on. All right, that's it. Got through the questions. We got to a lot of questions. It was a lot. It was one of them chapters. We had to get to a lot of it. Guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about what's going on and what's going to happen? One Piece is really good this week. And then we have another chapter, no break. So I am super excited for what's to come. Give me your thoughts. And again, the more you comment, the more we have these videos. Like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. You guys been holding it down. Thank you so much. If you guys want to check it out, we're watching The Penguin now. We're watching Breaking Bad. We're watching, of course, Attack on Titan, One Piece, Dragon Ball. All that is down there in the link below. If you want to become a member, it is free to join. And of course, if you would like to be a paid member, that'd be appreciated as well. Thank you guys so much. More One Piece greatness on the way. I can't wait. But I'll catch you guys in the next one.